All right. Okay, just started streaming. Publishing it in a couple places. Go back and put this on my Discord too, and then we will get started. And this, yes. Okay. So we should be live now. I'm going to set this back so that it doesn't bog down my computer. And let's roll the intro. Today we are going to be talking about the M1060, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to mod it. I did the mod already a half of it, and the other half I've reverted back to the original just so I can show you guys the steps. So, intro. That's the wrong thing. I'm going to click this thing. Lasagna.wow is a good idea. Okay, so here we are. I didn't do the best job of reverting this back to the original M1060 because there's a couple things missing in there, but I will explain that as we go along. For this, you're going to need scissors, Phillips head, double-sided tape, and a pad of your choice, and then I used a metal grill. I got this at Lowe's, and I used tin snips to cut it down. It's basically just an extruded stainless steel grate. We'll get into that as we go along.
It also doubles as a mobile small one-patty grill.
Yes, and we have Josh and Z here. We're going to talk about mods right after we get done with this. So, nice and easy. First, all we got to do is take these 4 screws out. They are 1, 2, 3, 4 around the edges of the cup on the back. This is actually a much simpler mod than I thought it was going to be in the end, but I'm really happy with the results. And I wanted to try and keep it as cost-effective as possible. So normally there'll be 2 other pieces of foam in here. You can take those out. We do not need them, and we're not going to be using these cups either because this is going to be open back. You also take out this piece of felt, but we are going to be reusing it, so I'm going to set that off to the side for now. And make sure not to lose your screws.
Will the M1060 grills work on the 60C?
No. The M1060C is larger than the regular M1060, so they will not line up. The driver is slightly larger as well. So, using a razor blade or something else, we're actually going to peel up this paper on the back. Now, I've already done it, so it's going to come off really easy for me, but be very careful not to rip it. You do not want to rip this paper. Because we are going to be reapplying it just with another layer under it. So just very, very nice and easy.
This is so stressful. I'm just waiting for that screw to fly off from the magnet.
Yeah, waiting for the screwdriver to just fly through into my driver and break my headphones like my...
Like last time?
Well, last time what happened, on my old M1060s, I accidentally was messing with the magnets, and one of the magnets came loose and flew through the driver. So it wasn't actually my screwdriver, it was just a magnet that decided that it wanted to be free. But to be fair, I was agitating it quite a bit. So there will be adhesive on here, which you'll want to remove. It doesn't actually cover the crossbars, it only covers around the edges, which, I mean, I guess it's technically optional if you want to remove that or not. And you could technically leave the stock pads on if you want, but I'm going to get to that later. It just depends on how much you're actually willing to invest into the headphones during this mod. So, now that we have this peeled off, make sure that it's still in good shape. Make sure not to get any kind of like dust or dirt or anything down into your driver. Want that to be nice and clean. I'm going to set this right here. And we need some double-sided tape. Be as clean as possible. Take it and get it to about the length of your... or the width of your driver right there. And we're going to take this piece of double-sided tape and cut it into 4 pieces. There's 1, just like this. 4 even little pieces like that. I'm going to put these on my table right now, just on the edge, just to keep them somewhere so they don't get lost. 2. And it's okay if they vary just a little bit in width. You'll want about, if you are going to vary them just a little bit. Make sure that about half of them are just barely larger and half of them are just barely smaller. So 4 of each. There will be 8 strips for each driver. So we'll use 2 pieces of tape for each side. Just one set for ear cups. So 8 for the left, 8 for the right. And this is only going to be on the back. There's not a fuzzer or anything like that included in this mod. This is different. We're not trying to tackle any ringing like we were in the last M1060 mod. So, fuzzer not necessary. And I do see some questions popping up. I'm going to get to questions right after we finish this. This is obviously going to be uploaded after we're done streaming, so I'm just going to get through the mod for all the people who are watching it afterwards. So I got 8 pieces cut out. And I'm going to take them and put them right back over here on these strips that go across in front of the driver on the metal. Now, I'm going to let these overlap just a little bit into the gap by maybe 0.5 millimeter, but no more than that. Only about 0.5 millimeter of overlap. We don't want to cover the space between the driver too much, but with the way that the stock driver paper is attached, it is only adhered on via the edges, and the center of it moves a little bit more freely, and we want to prevent that from happening. Now, allowing about 0.5 millimeter of overlap or less can give us just a little bit more reflection, and that can bring out a little bit more of the highs, which is something that we want to do, depending on what pad choice you go with. But I think that across the board, you'll probably want to bring out a little bit of the highs. So my next to last one, and here's my last one. Okay, and now I'll bring this up so you guys can see it nice and up close. You can see we're not covering up the driver anywhere, so we're only putting on these metal pieces, and some of these overlap by about 0.5 millimeter, and that's it. Just a little bit of overlap. Now I'm going to take this driver paper, make sure it's nice and clean. I'm going to put it carefully lined up as I can. Take it and put it right back on, and I'm going to make sure to press it in just a little bit between each one. And you're going to notice when you do this that ridges are going to be more visible on it now. After it's pressed in, you're going to see these ridges of the metal pieces a lot more clearly than you could before, right here. And you'll be able to feel them as well. Now, next on the back, we're going to put this piece of felt in, just as it was originally. And this grate I cut with some tin snips just to the size to where it would barely fit down in here. But I tried to measure it out so that we could still put our screws back in, and for our screws to actually hold it in, we have 4 little washers. Now, we could technically go with something that has a less dense mesh or something without these large pieces in it, but I do recommend going with something that's going to be semi-reflective because we want to recover more highs when we're doing this. So I would definitely recommend going with something with about the same, I would say, thickness as this metal grate. I'm going to switch back to my Phillips head right here. Oh, and it's obviously worth noting that this is probably going to be voiding your warranty if you do this.
If they figure out you did it.
If they figure out you did it, yeah. Someone would have to open up your headphones and do some investigating.
You might have to switch them back before you send them in.
Yeah. Which technically is doable. I forgot to put my washer on here. Smart me.
Oh, no.
Here we go. We're already making mistakes. I have listened to them. I actually have done the mod on these, but I took it back apart. I've been working on the mod for these for actually a really long time. Like, I've had another pair of these, and I was working on modding them actually before they even came out. I was trying to get this mod right, but with all the things I tried, it ends up that something simple like this worked out even better.
What have you got going on in the headband?
I will get to that. I actually extended out the headband and put a lot more foam in here to make it softer. So we'll get to that right after we do the pads.
Has anybody made a full-on replacement, like, whole armband?
No.
I've seen people do like
headband.
the headband attachment right here differently, and I've seen some 3D printed parts of things like that. But that was just on Telegram. I don't know if anyone's actually officially selling them yet. I think the guys at Mod House should get on that because they'd probably make something pretty cool.
You say guys, but is there more than one, or is Ryan still the only person?
Oh, it's just Ryan. Ryan needs to do that. Ryan, if you're watching this at some point,
Ryan needs to hire people that can do the modding, because once the Argon review of mine comes out, it's gonna be a 6-month wait minimum.
yeah,
It's
because
gonna be
Argon's
like,
amazing.
Argon are amazing. I told him I'm buying his. He's like, all right, hand me some money. I'm like, all right, that was it.
All right, and it's sometimes a pain to get these washers to line up right, but just have some patience with it. You might want to use tweezers at the same time as your screwdriver. Just to
Speaking
kind
of buying stuff, would it be possible for me to buy this SAP 6 off Uzi?
I mean, yes. Do you like it that much? Is it not available anymore? Because that was like my go-to before I switched to the that's what I used to use in my sound demos to come out of my Tascam before I switched over to the the FEO-Q1.
Okay.
To balance out on that.
I think it is still available if I'm not mistaken, but I don't really feel like paying full price for it. It's not that different from what I've already got. But
Yeah, I mean, it's been sitting in a drawer, so yeah, if you want it, just throw some money in my PayPal.
All right, real quick. So we got this done. The back is all set, good to go. I'm actually going to tighten that just a little bit more before we move on to the next step because I just realized that washer is loose. Which what?
What pads?
So that's what I'm going to talk about. There's actually several different sets of pads you can do with these. Oh my god, my nose is so itchy. I have allergies. There's so many different sets of pads you can use on these because of all the different sounds that it'll generate. So the three best that I found are the ZMF Autour perforated pads, the ZMF Microsuede Autour/Icon pads, and actually Bayer pads from the DT990. And I will, there's a few others here, but I will pull up a graph real fast, help explain this. So the one that I recommend the most is the ZMF Autour pads, and that's what the red line is on this graph. The Bayer pads are the cyan line. They are a lot brighter with just a completely flat low end. And they're a little bit more intimate, though they do have a larger dip in the upper mid/lower treble. And then the very warm and dark one, the blue line, is the ZMF Microsuede pads. That's definitely the most laid back, though the bass can be very, very punchy at times. Still, I'd say the best one I've heard is the Autour perforated pads. Now, I also tried this with Odyssey leather pads and vegan pads. Vegan pads sounded awesome, but I can't get into that too much because obviously not everyone can get vegan pads now. So,
yeah, I don't even have a set. You know that? I ordered a set of Odyssey pads months and months and months ago just to have them, and then everyone's like, "Oh, you should get the vegan pads." I'm like, no, I'm gonna get the full leather ones.
Well, the vegans with this,
yeah, everything uses the vegan.
You need a pair. You need to find a pair. The vegans with this make the soundstage absolutely immense. It does recess the mid-range a little bit, but it's a great sound. So if you have vegans already and you want to try this, I definitely recommend it. And the regular Odyssey leather pads are similar to that, but they're a little bit more harsh in the highs. But the best overall sound, it doesn't have as much soundstage, but the best overall balanced sound is with the Autour pads, the Autour perforated pads, and that's absolutely brilliant. So you just peel off your stock pads, which will probably disintegrate in the process of peeling them off. These I've actually managed to put back together, though, for the sake of it. There is normally adhesive right here. I have double-sided tape on, so I'm going to peel all that off so I can show you guys how to use double-sided tape to reattach these. And it doesn't hurt to just go in and clean all the adhesive off once you actually remove the stock pad, because the stock adhesive is kind of messy, and you don't want to risk getting any kind of hair or fibers or anything like that into your driver if they're stuck to the stock adhesive. So you can clean the surface off. I've already cleaned mine a couple times, so I'm not super worried about it, but one good way to do it would be with a cotton swab and a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Just make sure that you don't get anything down in the driver. And now we're going to pull out our double-sided tape again, measure out a couple pieces for the sides right here, and you'll notice that there's a hole and a little dip right there. Don't worry too much about that, just kind of work around it, and you can punch out the tape if you need to make it fit more snug onto the surface. There we go. I'll do one on either side. Right there. And then we're going to do across the top and bottom. I'm just going to take a single piece of tape that's measured to the right length and cut it in half, because normally a piece of tape will be too wide for this. Oh, come on, scissors. You know that thing where you use scissors for a while and then they just stop working because of all the gunk and goo you've gotten in them from tape, from cutting tape into little slivers? There we go. Got that. And now I'm going to line up the pads so that the crease on the pads matches up with the binding right here on the side. Make it as centered as possible. That lined up right there. And then press them into place. And you can reposition just a little bit. Just know that it's not going to hold on super well if you reposition it too much. I'm just going to hold that in for just a second. There we go. And now we have our pads on. Now, the headband, this is completely optional. Oh, did my stream die?
No.
Okay, good, it's still going. So the headband thing was completely optional, but I found that after we had thinner pads on it, with the vegan pads and things like that, this didn't bother me. Actually, comfort was improved. But with things like these slightly thinner pads, I noticed that it needed more padding on the headband. So what I did is I actually just took the stock headband. I did this in another stream, but I just took pieces of foam actually out of another set of pads, out of some 650 pads that were old and worn out and not good anymore. Because after a while, 650 pads just become useless, same with 600 pads, whatever. So I took the old foam out of that, and I cut it into some little squares, and just sewed those squares onto the outside of the leather on these pads, and then just took a strip of a t-shirt and sewed that on top. Now, this doesn't look super pretty because I didn't do the best job sewing it, but it made it probably about half an inch to an inch thicker, I would say. Now, the downside of that is that I didn't have enough room because I have a giant, vertically tall head and extended out all the way. I couldn't then fit my ears into the cups. It was too short. So I took some I took nuts and bolts from Lowe's and essentially just extended this out a little bit. So it is a little bit loose, lets me move back and forth.
Honestly, the nuts and bolts you put in there are probably going to last longer than the rivet that's actually in there.
Yeah, the rivet that's in there actually is made out of plastic. Fun fact. It's plastic with a metal coating on it. Yeah. But I found this works pretty well. Sometimes they get loose, but it allows me to completely adjust them to make them taller, shorter, whatever, and it's drastically improved comfort. Now you can see me on the little camera over there. It's right on my head, perfectly adjusted in every way I could possibly want it. With the Bayer pads, you might want to work with even more padding on top if you decide to go with a brighter sound, because these do not provide much support. But when you're using thicker pads, like either the stock pads or the vegan pads or other Odyssey pads, it will take some of the weight off the top by adding a little bit more clamp force and putting more of the weight on the side of your head. Now, with all that said, the stock pads, it ends up being a little bit harsh in the upper mid-range, just a little bit. It sounds slightly, I don't want to say mid-forward because it's not, because it recesses the mids and highs, but they sound a little bit harsh this way. With the Bayer pads, it does become quite bright, and highs are not quite as resolving, though it does sound very detailed compared to stock. And with the Otor pads, I still feel like you get the most well-rounded experience. And I like I said, at some point, Z, I'm going to send these to you. I think that you are very much going to like these with the Otor perforated pads. I think that they are absolutely excellent.
When I finally do contact Zach and be like, hey, send me everything you got, and every pad you got, send me everything so I can assess everything. Hopefully he lets me buy the pads off him, because ZMF pads are like, they're like the go-to. If you can do
they're wonderful.
Pads, it's fine, but then you go to ZMF, that's the next level up. Now that Odyssey is pretty much like telling everyone in the headphone modding game to F off.
Piss off, man.
Oh, and they do crazy things too, like this one, the micro suede pad. I put this on the 600 ohm version of the DT990, which is normally kind of like a treble cannon, and it turns them into bass cannons, and the treble becomes super, super tame. Like, I've been pretty fond of a lot of the ZMF pads, but I'll send you this set with the Otor pads on it, and you can see what you think. But Yeah. So this is the relatively simple mod for the M1060C that makes them open back. It's going to make it significantly more resolving, give it more soundstage, and before anybody asks, yes, this is definitely a drastic improvement over the original M1060. Now, am I saying to go out and sell your M1060s and get M1060Cs and do this mod? That's kind of a financial investment. That's up to you if you want to do something like that. Personally, I think that if you're putting in a lot of money to like upgrade from something else, you might as well skip up to like the DT1990 or something along those lines. But this is a pretty awesome planar for a pretty good price, and I think the mod helps it quite a bit. So there we go. That's the M1060C mod, as promised. And now we can talk about other mods and other things that are mod related, because this is still a podcast and we only took up 20 minutes.
Yeah, go team.
Do I want to buy a full Odyssey headband? I don't have much money, but if I did, I would, because I want to put an... Fun fact, actually, Odyssey headbands and Odyssey grills fit on the M1060C. It is the same dimensions, and the connectors are in the same places as the LCDs. Not even kidding. Everything's the same size. These grills, same bolt pattern, you can take this grill out, fit it right onto M1060C, and it does almost the same thing as this, but it looks prettier. And the headband fits on it too, and it was... I've tried it. It's awesome. But I don't know if you want to invest in getting an Odyssey headband and trying to find Odyssey grills. I can't find anyone who sells Odyssey grills online. I'm sure they're out there somewhere. But if anybody has an Odyssey headband and wants me to try it out on these, I'd love to. Because that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, like if I was building a headphones from scratch, let's say I was just a crazy person, or even if I really, really liked, I mean, how's this? My stacks, L700s, I've taken pictures of myself in them and sent them to people, and they're like, "Why do you look so stupid?" Because the actual arch of the L700 stacks, the actual top bit, I can fit my entire arm, my arm,
off your head,
through it while it's on my head, because I have to have it adjusted practically to the highest position. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I would completely 100% pay $100 to $150 for a replacement headband for just my L700 stacks, because they're plastic and they don't look good. And honestly, it doesn't do that much more for comfort. Or someone needs to make a universal headband that could fit, different widths, different lengths, and then just everything else is fine. Someone needs to come up with that. It has to be mostly metal. How you can do carbon fiber versions of it. We're talking about modding still a little bit. I want more universally moddable things, because most headphones have a similar system of grabbing the actual cup. You can get away with probably like 3 different widths, and then have it just be spring-loaded or stretchy, or even a screw adjustment. So that you open a clamshell, put it in there, squeeze the clamshell, and it holds it. Ugh.
Yeah, well, they could do like one of those arm brackets, because almost all headphones have only 2 connections to the headband, and it's on both sides of the cup. And I feel like if you did like an overall bracket that fit like, to a generally large size headphone, and then just added little inserts for smaller and smaller headphone cups, you could make a relatively cheap design that would just have like multiple sizes, and you could fit it to resize for different headphones.
Just for the sake of example, and I want something to fidget with, I'm going to put the grill on here just so you guys can see it.
Ooh, piss off 2 companies at once.
Guy commenting, I do have a Nix camera. I've got an Alpha 6300, but it just doesn't hook up to my computer right, and I don't have $1,000 to buy another one to try that with. So webcams it is on the stream for now, but my normal content I shoot on a mix of both Canon cameras and on Sony cameras.
No, I don't even have a webcam, so there you go.
Yep.
How are you liking those microphones, Z?
Well, I'm on the Marantz MPM 3000 right now, which I paid $165 for, and then someone linked me yesterday. Woot.com had them for $90. Limit 3 per person. I bought 3, so I'm probably gonna keep 2, run them in stereo, see if I can do a couple sound demos in stereo, and then the other 2 I'll probably just throw on a yard sale or find people who need fun of people who need a microphone badly. I have a couple of my friends just need microphones like extremely badly, and it's $30 for the Behringer preamp I'm using right now. It was $30. So you need a wire, a Behringer preamp, and this microphone, and you're set. Pretty much for anything you need to do.
All right, I'm just gonna put in.
Also good.
I'm just gonna put in 2 screws because I don't feel like doing them all. Do I just got a question? Do I recommend these or the LCD 2C? I don't really like the 2C nearly as much as when I first tried it out. It's okay, but it's incredibly dark, and I liked the LCD 2.2 a lot more. And honestly, I like this mod a lot more than I like the LCD 2C.
Really?
Yeah, I've had the LCD 2Cs here for a couple months. I've used them like maybe 4 or 5 times, and that's it. They are good, but like
using them for a while. I like dark. You say dark like it's bad. Sometimes you don't want to be that up in the music. Sometimes you want to relax. If you're
no, I absolutely get that. I totally get that. And I do like them. I do like the LCD 2C. It's a pretty kick-ass headphone. I don't know. I've been listening to these a lot more. I find these a lot more enjoyable, modded at least. And I don't know. I liked the old 2.2 LCDs a lot more than I like the 2Cs. So, and honestly, if I was going to spend that kind of money, I would rather have DT 1990s. Which, I mean, I guess, yeah, those are a lot more analytical headphones. But if I'm going for just like a planar, I'm going for a planar sound. If I wanted a warm planar, I'd just put the ZMF microsuede pads on the M1060C and open them. And that's fine. If I want to go for the sound that these have stock, I can literally put these same pads on the M1060C and it sounds like these. I mean, I don't know. I do like what Odyssey's doing here quite a bit. I like that they made them more comfortable. I like they're making them more affordable. Just from an outside point, it's hard for me to recommend them at the moment because of the other options that are currently available. Don't want to drop that screw. Drop the screw again twice.
No,
twice in a row.
Dude, you gotta go on Amazon. You gotta look up fidget magnet. I swear to God, everything's got the word fidget in front of it now. But I usually keep like a bunch of little neodymium magnets around just to stick to my refrigerator, stick things to. And I was looking for them, and they sell a cube of 216 magnets, like 3mm, well, probably like 5mm, 3mm, 5mm, whatever it is. 216 of them for like $12 because it's a fidget toy. Oh look, so you buy those, you stick them on your screwdriver, and you stick all your screws to your screwdriver.
Let me respond to a comment real quick. No, I wasn't trying to hook my necks directly to the computer. I did try that once and realized that wouldn't work. I was trying to use a capture card after that, but was having issues with the capture card, so I'm just not messing with it right now. I might grab another capture card at some point, but it's just too much of an investment right now for me to justify. So maybe one day the stream will be done with my 4K camera, but as of right now, I'm okay with doing it with this webcam. With the built-in webcam on my laptop, plus this Logitech C930.
We can see the back of your head and your bald spot showing.
Yeah. Oh, it's because I pulled my hair up funny, that's why.
Same difference.
Doesn't matter. I just here's the thing, I did it like this so I shaved off the sides, that way pads can seal on my head nice and easy.
Oh my God, what's the weather going to be like where you are, DMS? Because I looked at the 7-day forecast, and I'm not touching 90, but I'm touching 89, 87, 89 the next few days, and it's really getting on my nerves.
Yeah, it's like that here too.
Gross.
Dude, I did not take my air conditioners out, and I'm like, that's going to suck. I'm going to have the whole spring. What spring? I am not prepared for 89-degree weather.
It went from frigid to summer immediately. From winter to summer, nothing in between. It's
going to be like 78, so I'm sitting pretty.
Yeah, suck my ass. It's gonna cook over here. I got everyone in the cooking consortium is posting their 7-day, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be nice, hot, and then nice again.
That's what I hated about California. It was like, it used to be. I swear to God, like 10 years ago, it used to be fine, but we had a week in or actually several weeks in July of like last year, I think, that were all over 105 degrees. Over 100 and like it's ridiculously hot.
Side note, these are almost... I have a hard time making the LCD2s fit my head, these ones anyway. Like, I extend them out all the way and they just don't get tall enough.
It's the gauges. It's always the gauges.
But I like what Odyssey's doing here. I like what they're doing, I just want them to do more of it.
Pay them to do more of it.
I have to admit, I kind of missed the when they first dropped those, but weren't they like $600 and now they're like 800 or 900?
Yeah.
Did they go up? Is there a reason?
They
for that?
had an initial price of 600, and I'm like, oh, that's great. And then I had them for a while, and all of a sudden it went to 8. I'm like, it's still great. 600 was better.
Well, why jump up? Was it just because like people liked them, so like, we can charge people more money?
It's like, here's the thing, like, they're great, but DT 1990, but 660S, but modded M1060C. Those are my 3 points. Because all those things are a lot cheaper.
Yeah, but you know, none of the are any of those made in America?
No. The 1990s are made in Germany.
Half that M1060 is.
Yeah, part of the mod's made in America.
I automatically assume if something is made in America, you're paying 40% over what it would be.
Yes, I completely agree with that. But, I mean, like, that said, do you want to pay the Made in America tax? Or do you want to go for price to performance?
I'll be real, I haven't noticed, since, like, products after early 2000s, I haven't noticed any change in quality between America and other countries.
You gotta hold some ZMF cans, man.
I'm not saying there aren't outliers, but, like, in general, like, products that are made here, it's like they're the same quality as Japanese or Czechoslovakian products or really anywhere.
I mean, generally people would stereotype that American products are generally made worse, but, you know, it goes back and forth. Side note, I found, since Toys R Us is going out of business, I went by there and had like a nostalgia moment, and I got this, and it's awesome. It's Legos.
Yeah, Toys R Us is going on. You heard who filed for Chapter 11 yesterday,
This
right?
for $9. What?
Who?
TIAC Corporation.
Huh.
You know who they own? Everything.
Yes.
Fucking Onkyo. They own Tascam. They own a couple other brands I didn't even know they own. Let me go find the list.
Where are HT700s made? Aren't they made in Germany? I feel like HT700s are probably made in Germany. I think the 7 and 800s are both made in Germany.
Yeah, I'll post it back into the Discord.
Do either of you know, total random thing, but do either of you know if shit is ever going to make a headphone?
You know, they might at one point. I have no indication to believe they will currently,
I always
but
find that if it's bad voodoo. People who make amps and DACs should not make headphones, and people who make headphones usually shouldn't make amps and DACs. Sennheiser sort of stepped into it, but they kept it so expensive that it's like they couldn't fuck it up.
Shit's pretty ambitious, though. You have to admit.
They are. I mean, they'd almost benefit from going, let's see, speakers first or headphones first? Headphones first?
I think they would go headphones first.
I think they have a bigger headphone market than speaker market.
Yes, you did miss the modding, but it's okay because I'm going to be uploading this right after the stream, and you can see it then.
I uploaded the list of brands that that TIAC Corporation owns, and a Cakewalk, Serwin Vega, Harmony Central, which is the remote control of the Harmony remotes, I think. KRK Systems, Onkyo, Steinberger I've heard of, Stanton I've heard of. Some of these others I haven't. Tobias, Epiphone I've heard of.
Tascam makes amazing field monitors.
Yeah, they own all. TIAC Corporation owns all of that, and TIAC Corporation's filed for bankruptcy. And I don't know how or why, but we're gonna find out why and how.
My stream keeps freezing on my computer. Rest in peace. There we go. I mean, that's just kind of how these things go. Am I going to try the... I don't know about that mod. I'm gonna look that up. There's a mod for the HT650 that might actually be decent. See, the only thing about 650s is I've never heard of a mod that works with them, ever. Because they're about as good as they can possibly get stock.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
They like max out their potential.
I mean, Sennheiser just did them right. That's the thing. What is this? What is this mod list?
Is
It
it a
needs
naked
Dynamat, adhesive foam, and a foam disc. You know what? I will. I'll try it. I'll try it on stream sometime. I'm gonna see how much all these materials cost, and then we'll do a stream trying to mod it sometime. See how it turns out. Oh wait, there's more comments about it. While creating and dampen layer. Check that these will fit on the M1060. I was thinking of putting pilot pads on it. So pilot pad, I tried putting it on M1060, but it doesn't have enough vertical room, and then the pads would sit on my ears up here instead of down on them. So you'd have to extend out the sides like I did with these bolts if you wanted to use a pilot pad. So there's that. Oh, how much are DT770s?
I don't even know. Over 6, I think, still, right?
770s? No way. 770s are like 100.
No,
150.
770s? Oh, I thought you were 1990s for some reason.
No, 1990s are like 560. You should, if you're going for, unless you need close back, you should go for the 880s instead of the 770s. Personal opinion.
I've listened to a couple pair of 880s. There's so many different versions.
The 600 ohms are good.
Like weird.
The 600 ohm versions of everything that Bayer makes is way better than the lower impedance versions. I wish if they made a 600 ohm version of the DT1990, it would be that would be the end. Everything would be over. Audio would be over.
The end is a myth. It's a myth.
That would be the end of audio. We would all just have to pack up everything and go home because...
Someone should make a headphone called The End. See how that goes.
I'll do it. I'm making a headphone. I told you about this ages ago. I just have to 3D print some more crap and figure out a few more things.
I just have to do everything that involved in making a headphone.
Go ahead, post a link to a headband. If it doesn't show up, then I don't know. But yes, you can post a link to a headband. Yeah, the lower impedance you go, I don't know. I would love high impedance versions of everything. If the HD650 was like 600 ohms, that'd be awesome. If they had a 600 ohm version of the 1990, I would crap my pants and that would be the end of it. Just in pure joy. Yeah, and I was talking to somebody the other day about how a high impedance planar would be interesting, but there just wouldn't be it's not doable with our current technology because of heat management. Which is kind of a shame. Because I feel like if you could have a planar that would be as resolving as a high impedance dynamic, that'd be off the charts. But it doesn't exist. Oh, chill out. Don't be barking at people.
Off the train!
My dog's gonna bark in just a second. Just you wait.
Just
because people are running past my door.
Woof. Woof.
Oh,
yeah.
Really close to that microphone there.
Love it.
I could feel you like purring in my ears. Nasty.
Oh, this microphone makes me want to sing. I swear.
I was so upset.
I can't wait to have 2 of them. The case alone is freaking amazing.
600 ohm versions of the Cost Porta Pro. Oh boy.
There you go. That's what
I'm putting anything in Z's yard sale. Yes.
The 4AA. Actually, wait. What's going in the yard sale? Because I posted already. So.
Oh, those things I sent. You messaged me about the other day and said, "What do you want in the yard sale? Or do you have anything that needs to go in the yard sale?" I sent you like a really short list.
I didn't see it. I'll add it. I guess I could add it.
Speaking of sales and things, DMS, do you still want to buy that field monitor and that field recorder?
Yes. I don't know if it's going to happen this week or not, but I am interested in them both because they're both things that I very much need.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that stuff.
It depends on if I can sell the things that I'm going to sell in the yard sale, and if I can, then I'll put that money reinvested into things that are going to help the channel.
Yeah, I could sell the little dot. I'm kind of liking it though. Like, I like having a tube around.
I'm getting rid of my little dot because I'm going to review it, and then I'm going to get rid of it because this thing is not ideal. It's very
I like the little
gooey
dot.
sounding. It's very
I like how
uncomfortably
gooey
bright with the
sounding it
stock
is.
tubes. I have issues with it going in and out, like channels coming and going, and extreme channel imbalance. And
You're not doing a
Really?
very good
these are
job
also
of
a fire
hawking us,
hazard
man.
compared to some other tube amps.
Okay, has anybody heard the term hawking before? Like when you hawk an item?
Yeah. And you sell it like out of the back of a truck.
Yeah. Okay, all right. I just want to make sure DMS was the only one.
Yeah, I'm going to be getting rid of some IEMs and a couple other things. I don't remember what I sent to you, Z. I'm going to go back and look in that list, and then I'll tell people.
Yeah, please. God knows I don't remember.
The Simgo EN700 Pro, the Little Dot Mark II, the Shit Full of 2. I thought about putting my custom IEMs on there, but I don't know if anyone would actually buy them. So those 3 things, 2 amps, a set of IEMs, maybe also my custom IEMs, but I don't know. Would I love to build yes, I want to build a bottlehead crack so badly. I can't afford it yet, but I want to so bad because 650s, tube amp, yes. Oh, the main camera is just a low resolution. They're both low resolution. And my streaming bitrate is pretty low to make it so it doesn't lag on my crappy internet. So there's that. For M1060 headband and pilot pad for this, AliExpress metal headphone headband. Okay, I'll try that real quick. And see what comes up, and if that looks like something promising, I will link people. Is that an Odyssey headband of some kind or something, or what are we looking at? Oh. Is that a bear headband? I can't tell exactly what this is.
Send me that link.
Oh, wait, here we go. It's like, it looks like a headband like what used to be on old Hi-Fi-Men. Interesting. I don't know how comfortable that would be. M560? I mean, probably. Maybe a little... I could use a little bit more treble extension for jazz, but personal opinion. We're both selling little dots? Oh, wait, you're selling your little dot also, Z?
Yes, I had the Little Dot Mark II, and I bought the Little Dot Mark III, which means I'm going to sell the Little Dot Mark II. Then I was on Mass Drop, and there's a Little Dot Mark III SE, and it's like $160 more. It's ridiculous.
I bought the Little Dot Mark II, and it's been okay. It's not bad. It's also not great. So
I mean, look, the same thing can be said about the Dark Voice with the stock tubes. I've been rolling tubes in my Dark Voice forever, and there's always a change. I'd rather still have the dark. Nothing has made me want to give up my Dark Voice because it's less tubes.
Have you tried a bottlehead yet?
I have not. I've tried it at meets, but I have not owned one or had one here for an extended period of time.
Had one briefly,
you gotta go with the speedball. You gotta get the crack bottlehead crack with the speedball. Then it's like, okay.
It's amazing. I don't have one here. I had one here. Didn't have it long enough to do a video on it. Really want to build one from the ground up and show people how to build it with the speedball, because that amp is just... yes.
What do you think a Little Dot 3 would go for on your yard sale, Z?
Say that again?
What do you think a Little Dot 3 would go for?
I might find out. If I listen to this Little Dot and it's just, I assess it, and I don't know if it's going to bring enough to the table. Like, I'm looking for the next great tube amp, and I'll just keep buying and selling until I find one. So I mean, I'll throw it up there because they go off me $5, and if it's $5, I sell it for $5.
$2. You're awesome. Thank you. Why is a tube amp not good for planar? Impedance.
Yeah.
That's as simple as I can put it. Actually, no. Oh, thank you. I enjoyed doing reviews. It keeps me going. I may actually have to cut this a little bit short because we're 44 minutes in. But as you guys know, I've had like a lot of crazy health stuff going on, and my stomach is getting very upset, and I am not wanting to be sick to my stomach on stream.
No worries, man. We get it.
So you guys can keep going if you want, or we might just end it here.
Well, you're the one that does this stuff. This is DMS is the captain.
All right.
We're just the first mates. So.
Well, guys.
We don't actually mate with him though. It's not that. It's weird.
I'm gonna turn off the stream then here. I hope that you guys learned something. I hope that you guys enjoy the mod. If you did, please leave a comment down below if you did this and let me know how your results turned out. And I will catch you guys in the next one, as well as Z and Josh.
Full-size one next week.
Yep, full-size
Probably.
podcast next week. Bye, guys.
Catch you later.
Bye.